What's up guys, the kid's good here, and today I'm back with another Fortnite improvement video. Today I'm going to give you my top 3 tips for improving your aim at Fortnite. Now because I play on PC, I'm going to save my sensitivity and DPI settings for the end as it'll appeal to the PC players, and I don't want the console players to sit through that. But the first 3 tips we go over is going to be for both PC as well as console players. Also guys, I am still looking for subscriber Fortnite gameplay to review, so if you're interested in having me review your Fortnite gameplay, let me know down in the comments. If you want to improve at Fortnite, smash that subscribe button, click the bell to turn the notifications on because I make gaming improvement videos weekly. So let's jump into my top 3 tips for improving your aim at Fortnite. Alright guys, so the very first tip that I have for you is the crouch shot. Mastering the crouch shot will improve your aim at Fortnite tremendously. Now, I've been working on this, and when I say working on this, what I mean is by using it, because a lot of us know that the crouch shot is good, but I can't tell you how many times I go back and review my footage, and even in the footage I'm getting ready to show you guys, I don't do a whole lot of crouch shotting, but when you crouch shot, it makes your bloom significantly smaller, allowing for you to be able to go full auto and not have nearly as much bloom, because bloom is our #1 enemy when it comes to aim. I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. At the very end of this video, when I win this game, you'll see what I'm talking about. But bloom is your worst enemy because people will get really close and you'll start unloading full auto and you're just not hitting any of it. I mean, the bullets are literally going all around them and not hitting them, and that is that bloom. And to minimize your bloom, all you have to do is crouch. Now, it's not going to make the bloom go all the way away, but I can tell you this much: when you crouch and you go full auto, that bloom is significantly smaller. So learn to master crouching. And so what I recommend that you do is anytime you get into a gunfight, no matter what, just press that crouch button and start shooting. If you do that over and over, you'll start training yourself to do it, and you might start losing gunfights because you're not used to crouching while shooting. But I can promise, if you just start crouching when you start getting into engagements every single time, you'll get used to it and your aim will go up a lot. Now, the second tip that I have for you guys is going to sound very obvious, but I guarantee you, a lot of you don't do it, and that's aiming for the head. If you go back and look at your footage where you're getting outplayed or outshot, I guarantee you weren't aiming for the head, and if you were aiming for the head, you were overshooting, and that's going to lead into the last part of the video. But aiming for the head needs to be something that's at the forefront of your brain and you are conscious of before every single engagement. When I get into an engagement with somebody, the first thing I'm looking for is their head, and when I go back and watch a lot of other players play, you guys are aiming at the body, and you know, you're not really aiming for the head, but the head is like usually a 2.5 multiplier, which means you can kill somebody 2.5 times faster just for hitting those headshots. And if you start aiming for the head when you've been used to aiming for the body, you might start missing a lot more shots, but I guarantee when you start landing those headshots, it will take out people so much faster. So you can start to imagine what happens when you combine tip number 1 and tip number 2. If you crouch and you're aiming at the head, I guarantee you're going to start melting people out of the game. You guys have to start mastering these, and you have to put them at the conscious forefront of your brain. That is the most important way to improve and get better at Fortnite, is not only recognize what you're doing wrong, but change it. A lot of you guys know what you're doing wrong, you're just not changing it, and you have to put that in the forefront of your brain. When you jump into Fortnite, know the things you need to work on, and consciously be working on those every single engagement that you get into. Also guys, I do want to point out, the reason my building is so garbage in these clips is because in this particular game, all of my bindings were reset, and I was not used to using the default bindings. So as you can notice, for the most part, I'm like running around using ramps. I usually don't do that, as you guys know, so I just wanted to point that out. Alright guys, and the third and final tip that I have for you is patience. Learning how to be patient and calm when you get into these close quarter engagements. When you get in these close quarter engagements, it's important to just slow down. Just slow down your mind and focus, because if you're just erratic and you're frantic, you're panicking, of course you're going to miss a lot of your shots. And when I'm downed and I'm playing with squad mates, I tell them the same thing when they get in these engagements. I just, like, I'm like talking to them, I'm like, just be patient, slow down, aim for the head. Because at the end of the day, guys, being patient and not letting them panic you is one of the best overall Fortnite techniques. I mean, that comes from, you know, gunfights to building. I mean, every situation, you have to stay calm, and I've talked about that in previous videos, but I know I see a lot of it when you guys are getting in these close quarter engagements where you're just swinging around rapidly. So focus on being patient and slow down a little bit. Alright guys, so that wraps up the top 3 tips. Just to recap, the tips that we went over were the crouch shot, where you got to start learning to crouch to reduce your bloom so you'll start hitting more shots. The second tip was aiming for the head. Just consciously be focusing on the head anytime you get into an engagement. And the third and final tip that I had for you was just be patient. Slow down, focus, don't get frantic or panicked. Alright guys, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about that really pertains to the PC players, because I don't have a console to show you guys what I would use there, but if you do play on console, you can continue to watch because this may help you as well. But we're going to talk about the sensitivity that I use. Now keep in mind that the sensitivity that works for me and that works for maybe a different pro player or a streamer or what have you may not work for you, but you have to try and play with this because this is what's ultimately going to make the biggest improvement in your aim. So if we go to the top right here, we can go into the settings, and if we go over to the little gear, it'll pull up our sensitivity. So the very first sensitivity that we have is mouse sensitivity X and mouse sensitivity Y. I have mine set to 12 and 14. A lot of people, you know, that I've seen, like I know like Ninja and a lot of other pro players, they'll keep it around 9 or maybe 0.1. I feel comfortable right here, and like I said, you know, you don't want to have the same sensitivity as everybody else. This is what I use and what works best for me. Moving to the controller sensitivity, I actually don't even have a controller to use, so I didn't even touch that. That's all default. Mouse targeting sensitivity, I have it 0.55. I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm not exactly sure what that is. And then we've got mouse scope sensitivity, which, from my understanding, is when you are using ADS, so aiming down sights, when you're aiming down the scope. I have that pretty low because I don't want to overshoot my opponents. There we go. Controller targeting sensitivity, I don't use a controller. Controller scope sensitivity, I don't have a controller. So for the most part, these are the settings that I use. You know, I mastered these at the end of Season 4, and I haven't really touched them since. You know, what I would recommend that you guys do is when you start adjusting your sensitivity, play a couple of games, and then adjust it by just a little bit. You don't want to adjust it every single game, because if you have a bad game, you're going to get angry at your sensitivity. You're going to blame it on your sensitivity. So play a couple games, adjust. Play a couple games, adjust. But once you have this mastered, I guarantee it's going to help your aim out tremendously. And the last thing I want to talk about for us PC players is your mouse DPI. I know a lot of people recommend 400, no more than 800. I personally run in the middle at 600. There again, what I would do is set your mouse sensitivity between 4 and 800, and then adjust your sensitivity in-game from there. Always leave your mouse where it is. So master it at 4 to 800 and then mess with your settings. You don't want to adjust your DPI while you're messing with your Fortnite settings, because then you're going to get inaccurate results. So set your DPI between 4 and 800 or whatever you're comfortable with first, and then start messing with your Fortnite settings. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that I can help you improve your aim at Fortnite. If you have an idea for my next video, let me know down in the comments what you need improvement on, and I'll do my best to make a video about it. I try to make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so be on the lookout for the next one. So until next time.